Hey Computer Science 1P50 students, Ian Gordon here for an extended version of a library seminar. I'm coming to your class, or I have come to your class. Hopefully you learned something more about your assignment, about the library, resources and services you should know about. My name is Ian Gordon. I'm the Teaching and Learning Librarian to do this. Here's my picture. I have a career. I'm a geologist by training. I help faculty, staff, and students conduct research, and I can help you at any particular time for this course, any assignments, or any other related course. I'm one of 17 professional librarians in the library. I kind of concentrate with 3 or 4 of my colleagues on teaching and learning and providing research consultations to help people be more orientated to become information literate. Here's what I'm going to talk about today. The Computer Science Library Research Guide, which is central to everything. We're going to talk about databases, and there are lots of them. Citation management. What does it mean to be information literate? Where, how, and when to get help. So let's get started. Here's 10 things you should know about. If you don't, ask in the library, email me, ask me, book a research consultation. I'll show you how important they are, not only for this course, but other courses as you move through your scholastic career and beyond. Zotero Bib to do citations, Zotero to do citation management, Omni in our library to find out what we have or don't have. If we don't have it, you can always borrow it from another library. Never pay for anything. We can help you with that. The Computer Sciences Library Research Guide, how to use Google Scholar, Google Books, and Advanced Google. And we'll show you how that works, when, where, and how to get help, and then how to book a consultation. More about that later. 10 resources you should know about. If you don't, ask. Here's the course. Integrity and Literacy in the Information Age. It's really an interesting course, which I was in it with you as well. I have a number of learning outcomes. One that's not there that should be there is how to become information literate. We'll talk more about this at the end, but what choices do you make? What ethical choices do you make? How do you use information effectively for scholarship, to be informed, or to be more knowledgeable about the world around you as well? This is the preferred textbook for the course. It's on reserve in our library, and this is the call number you need to use. So go to the library Ask Us desk and ask for this book for this call number. You get it for 3 hours and then you return it. So it's always there whenever the library is open. And the library is open before and after, usually every day, and it has extended hours as you move through this academic year. So ask if you need any help. Here's the textbook. If you found a free digital ebook copy of this text on the dark side of the internet, would it be ethical to open and or download this text? I found it. Maybe you did. And this is what this course is about. What is it? How is it licensed? How is it copyrighted? How is it formatted? How is it presented? You need to answer this question yourself, maybe in a seminar, or the professor will answer that for you. So let's jump in. Computer Search Sciences Library Research Guide. So if you go to our main library, it's our webpage. It's free and open. And there's lots of things on it. Omni is right up front. If you click on Advanced Search, you search for books and articles. And you may use that exclusively to find out whether we have something, where it is, whether it's in digital or print form, and how to get it as well. Our hours are on our front page, and they change weekly. And other services that are here. But on the bottom right, there's a tab called Research Guides. If you click on it, there's research guides for every program. So if you're in biology or humanities or computer science, a research guide will come up, and they all look like this. So there's the URL for this guide. It has a tab on the left to find resources, to find articles, to find books, gray literature. We'll talk about that. Get materials from the libraries. That means we'll get it for you digitally, then email it to you. Or we'll get it from another library and notify you that it's available for pickup. Everything's free. How to borrow from other libraries, additional course guides. But in this course guide, in the middle, it says Computer Science 1P50 Fall Library Seminar PowerPoint slides, the slides that I'm working at, and this video that you're looking at as well. Note that this is a web page that's formatted, that has standards, and it has licensing at the bottom as well. So here's the Computer Science Library Research Guide. There's one for every course and every subject. This guide I've documented, put on the Internet Archive. It's a free source. I register for it. I put it up. It allows me to deposit PDFs and other resources. So everything I put up, that's mine, I usually put up on the Internet Archive. There are other repositories, But from a computer science perspective, here's the guide, here's a page of it, and the screenshots are in PDF format. It gives me a URL. But more importantly, not only is it there and it's free and it's always available, I share the URL with you and anybody else, but it gives me a license that I create as well. So it has my name on it. It has the usage, it has links to rights and privileges, what I can and can't do, whether it's appropriate. And it also has metadata, meaning it has tags and standards that describes what this object is. So it falls and it's open and it's available, but it allows me to track the usage as well. So whenever you create something, whether it's an idea, a poster, a presentation, an essay, that doesn't contravene licensing and copyright, but it's yours. Think about putting it on the internet. So not only you'll find it here, but it'll be harvested by other search engines like Google and other repositories as well. So here's the computer science guide. The gray literature tab. Gray literature is kind of a weird word. It's for materials that aren't books or articles. And so here's a page that has definitions on it, and they're linkable. That'll open you up to other sorts of things. There's a number of dictionaries and online encyclopedias I put there. You may want to use for this and other courses as well, but it has other tabs for patents, theses, and open educational resources as well. As you can note, on every page in the library, it has the chat service on the bottom left and has an email. So if you ever need to click on that during the day, there's a chat widget that comes up and someone live from Brock or elsewhere will say, what do you need or what do you need? How can I help you? And it's really amazing. I use it all the time. Or you can email. If you're at the end of the day or the chat's not working, you can email and say, can you help me find this? Or I couldn't find this. We're always here to help. The chat and the Ask Us Help actually works quite well. Gray literature. So sometimes you need to define things. So I found in our Using Omni, a handbook called the Oxford Handbook for Digital Technology and Society. I found this chapter called Digital Citizenship in the Age of Datification. And it looked interesting. I read it. I caught this quote, so I'm writing an essay, and it said, HINS defines digital citizens as, and I took a quote, and using API, I cited appropriately, and I include the reference as well. So being information literate and responsible, is it appropriate? Is it scholarly? Does it fit? Will it be of use? Sometimes a scholarly definition from a handbook or a dictionary actually helps start an essay, helps to define your terms, and helps you set an argument as you're putting together a paper, an idea, or you're coming to a lecture or a seminar and you want to discuss something as well. And then there's a format for APA for references as well. Here's another one. Oxford Reference is a big database. It covers maybe 100 Oxford University Press encyclopedias and dictionaries and handbooks. And I found the Dictionary of Education in that. I found a reference about plagiarism. Cut and paste it, put it into an essay. I titled up top, and I included the references as well. Whether you include this in your essay or your presentation, it's not, but it's nice to have this, track it, and using a citation management system, it puts this into one spot so you know where to look for it now and in the future as well. Here's another one, Oxford Reference, another dictionary, a dictionary of computer science, updated. It's in digital format. It can be searched, it can be browsed. I put the word copyright in and I found this particular entry. I cut and pasted it, but here's the citation that the system or the database gives you. So there's many places of getting citations. We'll talk more about that during citation management. Gray literature, patents, standards, and trademarks are really big things in computer science. Patents are ideas, techniques, applications, software, or hardware. Standards are standards of how to present an idea or an object or something that's physical, and trademarks are things like names, numbers, ideas, and images as well. So here's a patent I found. People come to us and we help them in the library saying, is there a patent on this, or could I develop a patent? So Google developed a patent software that revolutionized the internet. So this is Google's original ranking algorithm. And so I put it into an essay, I looked at it, I can read it, it's open, meaning it's free, and I cite it as well as part of my reference as well. So lots of patents. Standards are big things. So here's a standard put out by the ISO, International Standard Organization. It has a section on a language group, and I wanted to define convocation languages groups as it relates to the standard as part of a process. Maybe not for this course, but moving forward, but it's something that you can use. Include as a quotation using APA, and include the references as well. So Gray Literature also has open educational resources. They're digital ebooks and textbooks. So did you have to buy the textbook? Are there other books that may be able to help you? Increasingly, faculty and other scholars are creating open educational resources as textbooks, as learning objects. It's an excellent place, especially in computer science, because you can create and add these or find out what other people have done as well. There's a number of databases that we use to help find things. There's no one place to look, and they're helpful. We have them on our webpage. So here's an example of a learning object. It has a title, it has tabs, it has flowcharts, and so this may be interesting on Academic Integrity Repository. Someone at the University of Windsor put this together. It's kind of neat, but it's there, it can be found, it's part of a repository. It's an OER. Now, some OERs are books or open handbooks or textbooks, and this is big in computer science. We subscribe to O'Reilly, which has computer texts, so you have to do Java and think like computer sciences, maybe this book may be helpful. So you would open it, look at the licensing or copyright, which you could download, use, console, track, add, cite, you can do whatever you want. So we have lots of these in our library as well. Gray literature, theses and dissertations. So they're master's theses or PhD dissertations, and they're great literature because they aren't really books and they're not really articles, but they summarize someone's research, including your professors, over a number of time. And these are valuable resources if you're doing a thesis or dissertation to find out what anybody else has done, or you want to find information about an emergent, a unique topic. Maybe not for this course, but that's why we've put it under computer science, because computer science people always look at the body of knowledge, what's out there, what's been done, what's currently being done, but what theses or dissertations have been done as well. Here's an example that I found. Free open thesis by an important researcher here at Brock, managing and use provenance in the semantic web. So it's there and citable. You can read it, download it, and use it as well. Let's moving on from gray literature to book. Books are really important. Books give you a 10,000-foot perspective, and books sometimes include chapters or sections or edited papers within a book on a particular topic. There's lots of places to find books, and there's a number of databases. There's more than one place to look. Omni is a window to opportunity of what we have in our library and across all Ontario academic libraries. And there's other database catalogs that you can use. WorldCat at the bottom answers the question, what books have been published over the last 100 years that may or may not be in our library. Google Books we'll talk about, but these are a number of the books that you can use. And we gave an example of an O'Reilly text that's there in that particular database as well. So lots of books, ChatGPT, they come out all the time. We in our library maybe get 10 to 20% of books that are published, so we automatically acquire them, put them into our catalog. So there's more books that we don't have than we do. You may not need them, but if you come across a book we don't have, ask, we can show you how to get it. If you come across a book we have, whether it's in print and get it, or it's in electronic or digital or an ebook format, you can use it anytime. Books are really important. They give a general perspective and include information that can be not found anywhere else. Here's an example of a book called Robots in Care in Everyday Society. It's open access, so we have it available. It's in our catalog, so you find it through Omni. It has different chapters and different things by different authors. And look at the metadata at the bottom of this chapter. It has digital object identifier numbers for books as well as chapters, has licensing and copyright information. And if you use Zotero or ZoteroBib, you can cite it as well, like I've done here. Every book comes with metadata, as every web page and every data and every article does. And so here's some identifying name, size, ISBN numbers, licensing that comes with this particular book. But on the right-hand side are formatted, standardized metadata tabs for it as well. In the library, not only do we buy and acquire, teach and instruct like I'm doing now, but we acquire and we put all these things together into databases and software so that they're usable by students, faculty, and staff. Metadata is data about data. It describes the characteristics of the information. It's not the actual thing we're looking at, but the coding that makes this information discoverable. Metadata is huge. It's a career unto itself for computer sciences, but you come across metadata all the time. In the library, we use it to describe, find, and actually code material so they can be easily found. Here's a chapter of a book. So I looked at this one chapter, knowing different chapters are by different authors, so it's like a collection of papers. In that first chapter, I found this quote, I highlighted it, I put it in the text in APA format, and I referenced it as well. So you'll learn to do this all the time. You've probably done this before, but it's really important. Don't copy, don't steal, don't use inappropriately. If in doubt, always cite. So if you're using something that has licensing or copyright, whether it's a web page, a book, a chapter of a book, or a quote like this, always reference it. Always good to be safe. So here's a book and it has metadata. It has copyright, meaning this book is copyrighted by the authors in 2023. It gives you the license, how it can and can't be used. We usually don't read these things. It's like reading instructions is the last thing that we do. But it's really important because in the computer science world, this describes what this is, how it's to be used. So copyright's a legal term that describes and determines the power that creators have over their artistic, scholarly, and literary works. So as you create something, you can get copyright as well. I use that in the Internet Archive. I gave myself my own copyright. It describes the rights of how content can be licensed and used, and it's essential for all works. Nothing is too small. No idea is too new to think of it should be copyrighted or licensed. Excuse me. Books. Omni is a place to find whether we have it or not, and you may use it to find materials for this course or readings. It comes up and it has the default simple search on our front page as well as other things as well. I click on advanced search, and so you're allowed to search it. So if I'm looking for this book in our library, I know the title, it contains these words or phrases, and I click on resource type books or ebooks, and I click on the Brock Library tab, and it tells me whether it's here or not here. If you clicked on the Brock Library on Omni Libraries, it would tell you whether it's here in our library and if it's available at Western or Laurier or U of T, and then it would help you to find out whether you could get it for. If a book is in print format and it's not in our library, and it's in another Ontario academic library, it usually takes 2 or 3 days to get it here. You get to use it for a significant length of time, then we'll return it for you as well. So here's the webpage for that book. It tells you things, how to cite it, export it, how to get it. It's a digital book, how to get it online, and what databases it may be in as well. This book is described this way. Here's a standard cataloging entry. It has a title and author. Look at all the subjects I've described in this book, which are live links to find this book and find other books like it. It's like going to a database at Amazon and finding shoes, and it says, if you're interested in these shoes, you can buy others. This is telling you this is this book, and it's described this way. You can find other books like this as well. It has descriptions, contents, and identifiers as well. So not only do we have physical and print and online or digital ebooks, we have the metadata that goes with it as well. So information has value. It recognizes accessibility, value, and privileges. So it's named, it's licensed, it's copyrighted. Involves communicating ownership with ethical use without bias, meaning this is what it is and how you can use it. Or not how to use it. It includes rights for both the creators and for you and me, like the users as well. So we're done with books. Google Books is really important. So whenever I do a search, I search Google, Advanced Google, and Google Scholar, and Google Books as well. It's a way of looking at some content of some books that are available here. So I looked at this book, I clicked on limited preview in books, and I clicked on search, and it came up with this book, and it gave me more than half of the content. So if it gives you the content that you're looking for, you may not have to look at it in the library, or you may not have to get a full text copy. But use it, cite it, and use the code from it as well. Articles. So most people look at the library as a space and a place, know where we are, when we're open, and how to be used. We also look at it as, here's the books, the print ones, and the digital ebooks, but looking for articles. And most of all the articles that you'll use are in electronic or digital format. Databases, including free databases, preprint services where people put articles and manuscripts, and we have a list of databases as well. Oh, no, there's the help, the email chat, and the email address where you get help. Google Scholar's on the front page. But if you go further down this list, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other databases. So wouldn't it be nice if Omni was the only database you got to use? Wouldn't it be nice if you could bring more than one database together to one search interface? Well, different databases cover different things. Web of Science Core Collection covers core journals in all subjects areas. So it's a good place to get started. ACM, IEE, Inspect are society-driven publications to find something about a conference presentation, a paper, an idea. Inspect and Compendex or other tools come back as an engineering site. So sometimes if you're looking for information, you have to search more than one source. Only you know when you're finding whether it's not there, when to ask for help. And every database is like a person. They have different personalities. And so you search them individually using different formats and different ways to explore, to be information literate as well. So if you look on articles, sometimes there's a news tab here. Finding a newspaper article, here's a newspaper article I found. It's in the New York Times, and here's a quote: "The world, our kids, our inheritance is going to be full of AI," and it goes on, and it pulls from, so I cited, I use the text, and I put the references in my essay, or you developing an idea. So sometimes articles are news, and sometimes they're really important as well. If you go to the Brock Library and use this URL, or if you go under search and you click on databases, it tells you all the databases we have, just not those in computer science. There's 384 of them. Some are open, meaning they're green and you can use them. Some are proprietary, meaning we subscribe to them, so you have to move through this proxy access. The first database under A is Academic Search Complete, and on the right-hand side includes the URL, which has proxy access to allow you to get into it on campus and off campus. Lots of databases, and this is where the subject guide can help, or asking us for assistance can help as well. Make sure if you're off campus to set up your proxy server so that you get in and it knows who you are. Once it's set up, it usually works for almost all things. And that's another thing the library does, is we not only provide collections and content and strategies and resources, but we also provide ways or menus of things to make sure we program things so that they're all used in an appropriate manner as well. So we in the library do programming as well, as evident on the right-hand side for this web page. Coding and programming, writing instructions for computers and other hardware. You use it, I use it all the time. It's the practical side of an idea, images and text. It's for computer applications, programs and text. It's used for data compression, networking, cryptology, error detection, lots of things. We and you use it all the time, but it's the basis of how we provide digital content in our catalog and our collections, rights and privileges and copyrights. So we use this, and computer science people use this all the time. So that's the Library Research Guide. Articles, books, how to use, great literature. There's databases, there are lots of them. We've come across several already. And here's the databases that I put together for computer science. The ones in green are open databases, meaning you may have to register for it or have a username and password. You don't pay for it, so that's what it means to be open. And proprietary means the things that the Brock Library provides access to through the proxy access, so you don't pay for it and you use it. It's one of the privileges that we provide for you to be free. And there's lots of them. Some are business, some of them are data, some of them, like Oxford Reference, are handbooks, dictionaries, encyclopedias. Web of Science is articles. Some you use, some you don't use. Wouldn't it be nice if we had one source, but we don't, there's many. So as part of a computer science student's perspective, which database do I use first? Which databases do I use? Which ones can't I avoid? As part of the learning curve to be information literate. This is what I do. Maybe you do this as well. I go to Google, see what's out there. I go to Advanced Google, and I'll show you why that works. And then I go to Google Scholar. See, am I finding anything, not finding anything? What keywords and phrases do I use? Then I use the proprietary databases to dig deeper and find content that isn't available on Google or the internet. It's available through our databases. And I always use Web of Science Core Collection because it's core journals, scholarly peer-reviewed journals, and all subject areas, computer science in all areas as well. So that's a strategy maybe that you can use as well for any assignment. But there's other databases. Have you used Alyssa before? And now, is it a database? Yes. Is it a scholarly database? Kind of. But these services are free to register, and so what it does is ask you, it prompts you not only for a search strategy, but what is your question? So there's my question. It gave me and wrote me an introductory paragraph and gave me 5 scholarly citations. Not access to them, but I can use Omni to find those sorts of things as well. It's pretty neat. It's a good starting point. It takes a research question and kind of gets you started. Can you hand this in? Probably not. Can you use part of it? Probably not. Can you use this to test the waters? Probably. To see what's out there, what's not out there, to find maybe 1 or 2 key sources? Yes, but there's other sources that you can use as well. There's lots of these databases. Undermined is one I use all the time. It asks you to put into a research question, then kind of works with you and talks. You're talking to a robot. It helps you to refine the research. So my research questions were refined, and it provides a report for me, and it structures like a PowerPoint presentation, all the tabs for it. And then I asked it to write a report, an introductory paragraph, and it inserts the citations of the things that it found that are most relevant. Is it everything? No. Is it something? Yes. Is it credible? Is it ethical? These are things that you discuss in this particular course. And at the end of it, it produces a ranked list of the citations it found that help support that research question. Kind of gets you started. So if you've never used Undermined, Illicit, or there's about 10 or 12 other, I'll call them databases, that you may use to get you started, sometimes it's a way to explore. There aren't resources that we use in our library, but there are ways of getting started. As you can tell by the list, the way to get started is to put it in Google. So you can put in Google and put in keywords. It spits out what you find, and you can see whether it's relevant or not. It's always good to use. I use Advanced Google, which gives you a format, and here's the form you use, and put in words or phrases, and you can truncate things, or you can put in phrases. And then it says items appearing in the title of the page, and I look at PDFs. PDFs, because articles are usually PDFs, reports from societies, institutions, are PDFs. So I'm looking at PDFs with the words I put in there as keywords or phrases in the title of it, and this is what I found. So sometimes it finds things that are quick and dirty, you can find as well. So Google works. Try Advanced Google. I bookmark and use this all the time. Then use Google Scholar. Google Scholar in our library is a relational database using text, and you can look at our institutional address, you can use that, but you can go to search on our homepage, and then you can see Google Scholar, just like the databases, is right up there up front. So if you click on that, it takes you to our Google Scholar. And you can put in words and phrases. A phrase uses quotation marks, university student, and you can truncate student with a shift 8 asterisk to get students or hyphenated words. So I put in words and it gives you, it's kind of like you throw it in and see what you get, and it ranks it by relevancy or date. But it's our institutional address because we send our holdings to Google, and that's why on the right-hand side, if you find an article, it tells you this is where you can find it. It's a linkable. On campus in an IP domain, it doesn't ask you for a username and password, but if you're off campus, if you click on that link, it may ask you for your username, which is your student number and password to get in. On the right-hand side, you use your profile in your library, so you can actually put these to one place and keep track of these things and create a list, create a bibliography. I sometimes do that. But if you look at each citation, it gives you a title, it gives you authors and relational databases as well. You can save it and put it in your profile. You can cite it. It usually works quite well. With this article that I've looked at, ChatGPT in medical imaging higher education, was cited by 9 other articles in Google Scholar. Kind of like, that would be interesting. How and why did they use it? It's a relational way of finding other resources as well. So Google, Advanced Google, Google Scholar are my starting points. Ultimately, you go and find an article that's in our library, that's in Omni as well. As a title, an author, institutional address, keywords, abstract, introduction, and on the bottom is the metadata, meaning the DOI, the digital object identifier. Usually starts with 10 dot, and it's unique to that particular, it's like a social insurance number for this particular article, image, book. Usually every article has one now. You can read it. How do I know whether this is scholarly peer-reviewed, whether it's fake, whether it's real? One of the information literate skills that you'll learn along the way. It has a title, it develops an idea, it's authored by credible scholars, it builds on a body of knowledge because there's a list of references, it looks scholarly peer-reviewed, it looks like it's something that I could maybe use as part of an assignment. Here's an article. How do you know whether this article is credible, scholarly, worthy of use in this assignment, or peer-reviewed? Published with other people by a predominant or eminent researcher at Brock University, your professor. One key to whether it's scholarly peer-reviewed, it sometimes says it doesn't say it has the metadata link to it at the bottom of the top, but it says it was received, revised, and accepted, meaning it went through that peer review process, meaning it was blindly evaluated by colleagues worthy of publication because it adds to the body of knowledge, and then published in this particular journal. Congratulations to the authors of this particular work. So library versus Google. Library cultivates the content more closely on the way in. A library comes from a tradition of putting one thing in one place, where Google finds the value of a relationship between documents. It just goes out and finds things and pulls things together. Google treats everything as a web page, more or less. Whereas a library, we have different ways of gathering and informing and collocating and securing information. So what's in Google? Well, there's a lot. Scholarly, there's even less. Relevant to you, even less, but it may be overwhelming. It's hard to know. Google formats and changes information in different ways. So it sorts and measures things, has a ton of natural language processing abilities, which allows you to talk to it. Library platforms like Omni and our databases, not so much. We use Boolean operators like and, or, and not, which I'll go over, just to kind of help format it. It just helps you be precise because the art of online searching is not finding too much, wasting your time, not finding too little, and missing things that may be of peripheral interest as well. So here's my research question. For this particular seminar or paper Or maybe in the future, is ChatGPT AI-driven software a threat to academic integrity in higher education? You may have an opinion. You may want a definition of these terms. You may want to see how handbook describes this or how it's viewed in a particular perspective or paradigm like education or computer software. So this is your essay topic. It has concepts, so I've got 3 concepts: ChatGPT, academic and higher education. Another way to parse this out is I want to list and segment the concepts. So I'm looking for everything in one of these buckets. I'm thinking of a database to search, but here's another way of formatting it. I'm looking for things in each one of these buckets, and I segment them. So I OR synonyms, concepts, and acronyms, and concepts. So there's actually 4 searches here. So I'm doing this essay, I'm looking at these 3 things. So I'm looking for all the articles that have these 3 concepts. But you may look at for articles that deal with academic integrity within higher education. ChatGPT as it deals with academic integrity. Or ChatGPT and AI-driven software as it deals with higher education perspectives. So there's a number of search strategies you want to document. Search databases are relational. They use Boolean operators, and English language text is what we use, and English isn't perfect, and it changes, so it has different meanings to different people as well. So now you kind of have to figure that out. Sometimes I go to places like Word Hippo. I have this bookmarked all the time to find what other synonyms or words I may want to use. So cheating, deceit, fraud. There's other words I may or may want to use. It's like, is it teenager, adolescent, or high school student? Which word within which discipline do you use, or do you use all 3? It helps you to manage and create search strategies that are more precise. So here's my search question, my concepts. So I've included 3 search strings, and I separated my search strings by OR, and I've separated search strategies by AND. So I'm looking for everything on ChatGPT and academic integrity and higher education. But I always write down notes. Fake news came up, or I advanced Google's turn it risky, problem. So there's never one search strategy that works best, but document this. It helps you to be a better searcher and information literate. So I've updated my search strategies, and then I'm putting boundaries around this. I'm looking for scholarly articles. I don't really want to go back before 2021. English is a bias or a limitation, but it's something I want. I checked Omni, checked my Google, Web of Science. I'm looking for 5 good articles. I'm going to search keywords and titles, and I'm going to use Zotero, Bib, and Zotero to track and cite to manage my citations as well. So I can go to Omni and do this, see where I'm searching Brock, and I'm looking for articles. I use OR between search strategy concepts, and search concepts. So it's 3 things. Omni works well. You don't know what you're searching in Omni, but I may find 1 or 2 articles. A Web of Science does a better job because they're all scholarly peer-reviewed articles here. So I put in words and phrases, truncated words, but I OR and appropriately, and I search. So you can revise your search strategy. And I found 166 citations. Is that too many, too few, or just right? It's hard to know, but only you, when you're searching, will know whether you find whether to revise your search strategy as well. I refined it by looking for just articles that were in English over this time period. I can actually search within the results to see if there's anything else I want to look at. Maybe I want to look at plagiarism, or just a Brock, or some other word I want to look at. I can click on each one of these 166 and add it to a marked list to put it to one side and do a different search. And I can sort these by relevance, meaning most to least relevant, or by currency, new to least new. There's a number of ways to look at the data. Only you know what you're looking for when you found it. I found 13 things. I put it into a marked list. I want to get the author, the source, the abstract. I want to export these to Zotero. I'll show you what that looks like. Every citation, like a book or a chapter or a web page or a patent, has metadata, and here's the metadata. But this article has been cited 9 times since it was published. And in this database, 47 of the references found in this particular article are also searchable as well. So serendipity is sometimes a research methodology. I look here, I look there, and I look there, and I adjust my research strategy, or I find things I would not have found any other way. So here's a full Web of Science citation, web page metadata, journal, abstract, document type, keywords, where it's been cited, but it all have a DOI, or Digital Object Identifier number. That's really important, because when I find something here, you can click on the Find It at Brock or Find a Full Text. I always take the DOI number, put it into Google Scholar or proxy access, And it allows me to look at what's been cited 40 times, and it also provides a content link to find out in our library. And here it is. Read it. Is it scholarly? Is it peer-reviewed? Does it make sense? Get the citations. I can put it into an essay, but I need to reference it if I want to use it using the appropriate software. Here's another journal article I found. Really interesting. ChatGPT in Education, Global Reflections to AI Innovations. Looks scholarly peer-reviewed. Smells, tastes. It's probably scholarly peer-reviewed as well. But it has tables. It has methodologies. It has a license. It builds on a body of references, so it has many. Conclusion, and it has a citation as well. This is what you're aiming for from a scholarly perspective, to add to an essay, add to an argument, or just to inform yourself as well. Faculty do this, I do this, and you will be doing this all the time at Brock. So we're getting to the end of this, but whenever you do a search, you define your research question topic and ask yourself, am I finding or answering my research question? And you move through all these strategies. Identify keywords and concepts. We did this. Build our search. We ran our search specifically in a database, and we evaluated results. You need to critically think to be information literate of, am I finding what I'm looking for? Is it appropriate? Can I use this? If I got too much, too little, and to refine your search as necessary. Sometimes you take 2 or 3 cracks at a database to find the information that you're looking for. But too often in our library, especially in computer science, you're over rather than underwhelmed, so there's lots of information out there. Research guide, databases, citation management. This is something you really need to figure out. Zotero and ZoteroBib. There's many other citation management software. We promote this, and it works with all the databases. It's free upon registration, and it updates itself. People go, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Why didn't someone tell me about this? Book a research consultation with me, and I'll show you how to use it or how I use it, and you're ready to go, and it runs by itself. ZoteroBib is a tool that they're connected, but they're not linked, works all the time, and there's style guides here for different styles. Computer science uses different styles to cite the literature, and also to develop an idea, to frame an argument, so there's lots of style guides that you may have to use in our library or in your course of study as well. Here's ZoteroBib. I take the DOI, I put it in there, and I create APA on the bottom. There's 10,000 styles. I click on Cite, and it does it for me. If you look at the citation, looks pretty good. Cut, paste it, put it into my essay, or my notes or an email address as well. Here's what Zotero looks like. This is their desktop application, so it's updated all the time. I created a file called Computer Science 1P50. So every time I found something, or a number of things, I put them in here, and it automatically loads them and adds all the tags and metadata. On the top right-hand corner, you can add notes to this, you can add tags or links to the article as well. But it's a way of tracking in one place all your citations for this assignment, this course, this paper, or this idea. This is the web or the cloud version of Zotero, and when they back each other up. So it looks almost the same as your desktop application where you do most of your work. But the nice thing about this is they back each other up. So if you lose your laptop or your computer, you always have this. But in the cloud or the web application, there's a groups account. So you can use Zotero amongst 3 or 4 of yourself. So you can add citations to it or work as a group. Many people use that doing research. Develop a group Zotero account, so you track your citations as a group, just not as an individual. Another thing people use all the time is they download the Word Zotero app. And what it does on the top right-hand side, it's part of one of your menu options. On the left, it says, whenever you're writing an essay, here's my essay, ChatGPT and student cheating, why should I care? And I add a citation. When I go to Castello with this citation, I click on Add a Citation. It puts it into the text and automatically adds the reference. So when you write your essay, and you add your text and your citations, it adds all your references. So when you're done your writing, you've done all your references as well. How good is that? Ask, we can show you how to do this as well. What does it mean to be information literate? This is really important for this course. It involves critical thinking, choice, and effective use of information. Is a developed skill essential for research and learning, meaning it changes all the time because so much is coming at you. And it's expected for a scholarship, not only in this course, but other courses as well. To be information literate is something you should put on your resume. Not only you can use databases, you can write and you can develop ideas, but you're information literate. Because someone's going to ask you, what do you mean you're information literate? You can use this definition or use your own. An information literate individual is able to evaluate information and sources critically, incorporate selected information into one's own knowledge base, and use information effectively to accomplish a specific purpose. And I cited it as well. Here's a diagram or an infographic You can identify, find, evaluate, apply, and acknowledge information. Really a critical skill, especially as the world changes, and you'll be doing this not only this course and other courses, but as you move on and you do whatever you want in your career as well. Information literacy is a powerful concept. It's a skill. It's acquired and it's developed over time. So here we go. We're reaching the end of our seminar. The research guide, the databases, citation management, Zotero and Zotero Bib. What does it mean to be information? Where and how and when do I get help? So we have videos. These are kind of neat. They're on our website. Search video tutorials in the library, and this will bring up this page. What is a search strategy? What does it mean to be scholarship? What is peer reviewed? They're simple 1 or 2, 3 minute citations. They're actually quite well. We have lots of books in our library. They're in print or in electronic format. How to write effectively. If you don't, ask one, which might be appropriate. And you can say, oh, I don't need these, but yet I always find things to learn. So Writing for Computer Science is a book that I look at, and here's the table of contents. And look at all the chapters. Good style, punctuation, mathematics, meaning how do you document or standardize these things using a particular style. Lots of stuff here. You may only use a section or chapter of this book. By saying that this book is not really relevant, the chapters of the book may be more relevant. So always look at the book and the chapters of the book as well. Here's another book, Scientific Writing, Research Writing for Native and Non-English Speakers of English. I like this book. How to write a discussion, how to write an abstract, how do you create a title for your essay? Have you ever thought how to do that so it's appropriate, it's legitimate, and it can be discovered as well? Lots of books in our library, just 2 examples of books. More things on where and how to get help as well. The computer research guide, the other guides. Email the library at any time. How do I, where can I, this isn't working. The chat service, as I said, is really neat, just to say hi. And if you want to book a consultation, some people do that as well. Booking a consultation usually involves developing an idea, and I can't figure out, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. We can work with you one-on-one or as in groups, book a consultation. We meet with you using Teams or in person, and we work on that together. You have me for a half an hour, 45 minutes, however long it takes. Some people book a consultation because they've been challenged to do something they've never done before. Loading Zotero, we can help you to do that as well. Or they're writing an essay and they need data or a definition, or they just need help. We can't help you to write. There's places to go and get that help. But booking a consultation helps you get started, or to be more knowledgeable, how to be more information literate. If you book a consultation, this screen comes up. You can book any one of my colleagues. You can book me if you want. It brings up a calendar, the day that you're available, and a time that I'm available. So it meshes with my calendar. And when you click on one of these times, you book it, and I get a message saying, you are looking for a consultation, and ask you, why are you meeting? So you say, I need help with this, or could you work with this? Or the teacher or faculty member said this, can we work on this together? You get an email, I get an email, and then we schedule that in advance as well. So we all know what's going on. So I want you to be like this, information literate, computer savvy, be successful, happy, and to be informed. This course and other courses as well. At any time you can email me. I'm a teaching and learning librarian. If you email me, my email address there, put Brock or something in the subject line so it doesn't go to my junk mail, or the course name. I'll be glad to respond to you whenever it's appropriate. So good luck with this particular course. Amazing course. I wish I was in it with you. Other courses in your career. We can help. All the best.